All right, we are taking you to the launch of the ACET Business Transform, a conversation ongoing. We want you to listen in.
He is the CEO of Goodwill.
That's right.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're happy to have you as part of the first cohort of ACET Business Transform.
Yeah.
What has it been like so far, being part of this first cohort of SMEs?
Yeah.
And tell us what you are expecting to take away as a company from this journey.
Well, so far it's been great. I mean, it's a privilege to be part of 10 companies selected when we knew there was a very competitive process. And we've gone through already a diagnosis with PwC to see where the problems in our businesses are for improvement. And we are in the natural fruit industry, so it's a very competitive area. So getting access to intelligence like PwC can actually change the course of the business. In terms of expectation, we are currently really looking at getting to the next level where we would look attractive to any investor who hears about our business or who hears us pitch. So we are looking to be transformed in a very good way to be able to meet investors.
Thank you very much, Joshua.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so you heard from Joshua Ayumbura, who's the CEO of Goodwill Limited. He's expecting that Goodwill will be investment ready by the time he's done with this transformation journey. And we have here a very beautiful lady from, nice package. So Dr. Nanecha Ankra is with Saliscom Limited, and their product is Arise. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right. So we just want you to tell us, you've been selected as part of the first cohort of ACET Business Transform. What does this mean for Saliscom and for your product?
Okay, so Saliscom is very excited to be part of this program. We hope our aim previously was to be to grow globally. ACET coming on board is going to make us investment ready, and that will help us with our aim.
All right. What's the one thing that you are looking forward to either improve or change about your business from the expertise and the coaching and everything that you get from this program? What's the one thing you're looking to change for your company?
Okay, so Arise has been serving Ghana for some years now. With the assets on board, we are hoping to improve on our technical bit and our managerial bit,
Right.
and then get our footprints everywhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, darling.
We are happy to have you, and we hope that you have a good journey, transformation journey.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thanks.
Okay.
So we're going to have with us Stephen, who Stephen Wilson Bojewira. He's with Skylink Agro Processing, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his product and what he's expecting to get from this transformation journey. Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Happy to have you here with us.
Thank you.
So I see you're holding a very nice package. Tell us just a little bit, in a nutshell, what your company does.
So Skylink is into the processing of cassava into high-quality cassava flour, majorly.
All right.
And our product is used by industries. This is not coconut that people normally know. This is high-quality cassava flour. So it's used by brewing industries, plywood industries, bakery industries, the textile and the paper industries.
Interesting. What has been your main challenge or your biggest challenge since you started your organization? What has been your biggest challenge, and how do you think that the ABT is going to help you to address it?
Yeah, so as a starting business, just learning how to do business, it was a bit difficult, knowing the right things and doing the right things at the right time. But with ACET coming on board, our expectation is that with the business diagnosis that they have gone through with us, we have come to know that there are certain things we are not doing right. So we have started closing the gaps. So we expect that with this project, we'll be able to expand our business and go global and do more.
That's a big expectation.
Sure.
From what you've gone through so far, do you think that you will be able to meet that expectation?
Sure. I mean, if you have the right direction,
Yeah.
you can always do what you want to do. So for us, we believe in the process. We believe in what we have seen so far, and we trust that we'll be able to do more even than what we expect.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
You're welcome.
We look forward to engaging more with you.
Thank you.
All right, please. All right, and we have another handsome gentleman here with us. It's climate season. We're talking about climate, so I'm happy to see that George is with Solar Taxi.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Solar Taxi. What do you do?
Solar Taxi is an e-mobility company. That's electric mobility. So what we do is provide electric vehicle as a transportation option. So we have electric cars, electric bikes, there's a tricycle. Also provide charging units for our clients so that they're able to charge their vehicles. Yes.
So you're part of the first cohort of ABT. What have you seen from the journey so far? I know there have been diagnostics, there have been some things work that has already been done with you. What's your impression of it so far?
Well, I would say revealing. We have been able to kind of come to notice of certain things that probably won't have taken a look at that. Yeah. So far, it's kind of revealing for us. We see the way forward to help us to really position ourselves for the kind of growth that we want to achieve as a business.
What's the biggest gap that you see that you think ABT would help you to bridge?
I mean, structuring us to make us investment ready, because with that kind of business, we need a lot of funding to scale.
Yeah. So you expect that by the end of your ABT journey, you're going to be ready to receive more investment.
Yeah, we would definitely have to be ready. 100%.
And you're going to create more employment, right?
That is what we are in for. Create more jobs.
That is good to hear. We look forward to having a fruitful journey with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Right, so that has been it for now. We're going to go into our lunch session, and we'll be back with some more interviews with our SMEs and with our partners and mentors. So stay tuned for the rest of the program.
Thank you very much indeed. And if you enjoyed that, please put your hands together for yourselves. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch of the ACET Business Transform program. My name is Bernard Koku-Avle. I am a radio and television journalist. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for taking time off your busy, traffic-laden afternoon to join us to launch this very exciting program, and also to see what's happening in the lives of these 10 businesses. Before we proceed, just to make a few quick announcements. As you would know, all COVID protocols still being observed. The only time you're allowed to take off your mask is if you're speaking to people. Put it back right on. We have our washrooms outside. We have functionaries in black to help you with anything you need. This program is also being streamed, so please smile. And if you're not supposed to be here, make sure the camera doesn't catch you. Are we together? Brilliant. So we have lots of things to do in a very short time. Thank you for being here. I sense some movement at the back. Please get settled as we start. What I would like to do first is to bring upstage to give us the real welcome, the Executive Vice President for the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, Mavis Owusu-Gyamfi. Please put your hands together for her as she comes to properly open the function. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben, for that introduction. Honorable Deputy Minister, Madam Deputy Governor, ABT patrons and mentors, friends from the diplomatic community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome all of you to the launch of the ACET Business Transform program. On behalf of everyone at the African Center for Economic Transformation, please allow me to thank you for taking the time to join us today and for being part of Africa's transformation journey. ACET, the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, that's our acronym because we believe we are an asset for Africa, is a Pan-Africa policy institute focused on supporting the continent's economic transformation agenda. We produce research and analysis to inform policy formulation. We provide advice to partners and facilitate peer-to-peer learning. and we convene partners across the continent and beyond to advocate for smart, inclusive, and sustainable development. Our vision is to see an economically transformed Africa within a generation. To realize this ambition, we work with governments, business, civil society, and our development partners to define and support the economic transformation agenda. The past year and a half has been exceptionally difficult for all countries across our beloved continent. Governments have been forced to make choices between the health and safety of their people and growing their economies. Whilst Africa has not suffered the high mortality rates seen on other continents, we have nevertheless lost many lives. Alongside the loss of lives, which is very sad, there has been a devastating impact on our economies, and it is currently projected that it will take us a while to come out of that negative impact. Many businesses have suffered or collapsed as a result of the necessary systems our government had to put in place to keep us safe and healthy. Martha Beck, the psychologist, I'm sure some of you know of her work, stated that any deep crisis is an opportunity to make your life extraordinary in some way. As a continent, we have been through a deep crisis, and we now have an opportunity to build forward better and develop the solid foundations that are necessary to transform the structure of our economies. The impressive growth that has been enjoyed by many countries pre-COVID, the turnaround investor confidence that we started to see as the enabling environment for businesses started to improve, and the increasing enthusiasm of the private sector are foundations we can build on to transform our economies. With the right policies, plans, national governments can work with the private sector to build transformative economies that can create much-needed productive jobs and enhance sustainable growth and shared prosperity. Economic transformation, however, does not happen in a vacuum. At ACET, we have defined it as growth with depth, D-E-P-T-H, depth. It happens when countries diversify their production, when countries increase exports and boost their competitiveness in world markets, when we enhance productivity, upgrade and use technology effectively, and most importantly, we use that growth to improve the well-being of every single citizen. Not just the rich, not just the connected, every single citizen. When this happens, growth is not short-term or shallow, but instead it is lasting, it is deep, it is resilient, it is better able to withstand shocks. Given the predictions that COVID-19 is the first of such global shocks, the plans to rebuild our economies must have at the heart of it the ambition of transformation. At ACET, we work with governments and business leaders to achieve growth and depth. Our research has shown us that the combined efforts of the public and private sectors are critical to create the right policy environment for businesses and innovators to thrive, and for transformation to take root. We fundamentally believe that private sector-led initiatives anchored in sound analytics and practice will drive Africa's transformation agenda. That is why we are increasing our focus on working with the private sector, especially small and medium enterprises. During every crisis, and we've had a few on our continent, it is innovation and the indomitable micro, small, and medium enterprises that keep our economies going. They represent 85% of African businesses, employ more than 80% of the workforce in manufacturing, and contribute 70% of our continent's GDP. But let's come back home to Ghana. Ghanaian MSMEs account for 90% of registered businesses every year, and they generate more than 90% of employment. Given the levels of informality at the MSME level, we know that the numbers I'm quoting are substantially lower than the reality. MSMEs are vital to Ghana's economic outlook, and they are vital in three ways. They are creators of jobs for our rapidly growing workforce. On average, every single micro-enterprise in Ghana can create 2 jobs. Small businesses can create 6, and medium enterprises can create 46. Now, if you aggregate all of this and the 90,000 MSMEs that register every year, Ghana has the potential to generate close to 500,000 jobs per annum just through MSMEs. Unfortunately, we also know many of these businesses do not survive long enough to realize that potential. Our MSMEs are innovators. We see Ghanaian MSMEs providing local rice. I have learned about cassava flour today, industrial cassava flour. It's not for kokunte, industrial cassava flour. They produce art. They are innovating beauty products, technology, financial products, medical equipment, you name it. There is a Ghanaian MSME out there innovating and producing it. They are taxpayers. I know our Honorable Minister will say they are not paying enough, but they are contributing something to the revenue base, and they have potential to contribute even more. Now let's imagine a world where these enterprises don't die, but they are supported to grow and thrive and linked to local and global value chains. A world in which they are seen as being financially viable as opposed to financially risky. A world in which they are seen as, in a world in which they are supported to build their business practice and acumen. A world in which the policy environment at the macro and micro levels are conducive for their businesses. A world in which they know where to go to access the support they need to yield notable gains in employment and in turn accelerate economic transformation. That brings me to why we are today, because ACET believes we can create this world. Not just us, all of us together can create such a world. At ACET, we have spent over a decade working with governments across the continent, including in Ghana, to improve the environment for all businesses, including micro, small, and medium enterprises. But we have learned over the years that whilst this is necessary, it is not sufficient to enable these enterprises to get to the level where they can fully contribute to Ghana's economic transformation. ACET Business Transform, our ABT program, aims to move us beyond the focus on policy improvement to helping SMEs to successfully navigate the business development market, to access the back and front office support they need to demonstrate their viability as companies. It is our response to one of the many challenges SMEs face today. We want them to become investment ready and then to be able to integrate into competitive, regional, and global value chains. Charles will take you through the detail of the program later, so I'm not going to expand any further. Today, we are launching ABT with our first cohort of SMEs, 10 businesses located in Ghana. Will benefit from the guidance of our technical partners and the mentorship and coaching of renowned business executives in Ghana and elsewhere, as well as global leaders. At ACET, ABT is not an end in itself. It is a demonstration program. It aims to better understand what combination of support is necessary for SMEs to develop, grow, and thrive alongside a conducive policy environment. As such, ABT in Ghana will be accompanied by a robust learning program to ensure we are able to understand and demonstrate not just what works, but how it works. This information will be critical in enabling us to replicate and scale up beyond the 10 businesses in the first cohort. But more importantly, it will enable us to replicate this across the continent in different African countries. We are excited to be starting this journey today with our first 10 SMEs, our patrons, our mentors, and the government of Ghana. You are all critical partners if this initiative is to succeed. I would like to offer my personal gratitude and that of our president, Dr. K.Y. Amoako, to all our patrons, mentors, and the government of Ghana for collaborating with us as we embark on this next stage of Africa's transformation journey. There is an old Nigerian proverb that states, "A man cannot sit down alone to plan for prosperity." To our first cohort, I want you to remember these very wise words from our elders, as I believe it will serve you well as you navigate the advice and at times challenging guidance that you will receive from our technical partners and your mentors. Heed those words. Your wealth can only be achieved by drawing on the wisdom and networks you have available. Once again, to all of you, thank you. And I am really looking forward to our continued engagement and in 10 years coming back and seeing a lot more businesses and knowing it started in this room. Thank you.
Wow. I thought I was just calling you to give a mundane. Wow, that was like, I would have voted for you if you were running for president. And I like the quote, "A man cannot sit down alone to plan prosperity." I thought that was interesting coming from Nigeria, because we know that in that country, a man can sit down alone to chop it. So you may not be able to plan it alone, but you can spend it alone. All right, I've been advised to reintroduce the program for the cameras. So pretend I haven't said anything. So I come in, you clap, I reintroduce the program so that the online audience would think we're just starting. Is that a good idea? Okay. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the launch of the Africa Center for Economic Transformation, ACET Business Transform Launch and Networking Cocktail. My name is Bernard Avle. Thank you very much for your kind applause, and I'll be the MC for the program. We just had our first speaker, the Executive Vice President, Mavis Owusu-Gyamfi, with a brilliant video, a brilliant submission. If you missed this online, you can just scroll back a few minutes and watch that delivery. She set the scene for us to get a proper understanding of where we've come from, where we are getting to. Charles will do that shortly, but I want to invite the Noyam Dance Factory to bring to us a quick performance. Put your hands together. That was the Noyam Dance Factory, or the Dance Institute. Put your hands together one more time for them. If you just joined us, this is the ACET Business Transform Launch and Networking Cocktail. It's a two-part program. We're launching the program, and we're also going to have time to get to meet these 10 incredible businesses much, much later. For now, though, we want to understand a bit more about this journey, what this PSD team has done, how these 10 were selected, what they will become, hopefully, in the next few years. The head of the PSD team at ACET is Charles Odoom. Please put your hands together for him as he comes to walk us through the journey so far. Oh, come on, I think you can do better than that, Charles.
Honorable Minister, our mentors and patrons, CEOs of SMEs, our Executive Vice President and Senior Management of ACET, our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to have you join us today to launch our special program. But before I go ahead, we're going to have a combination of a little speech and some videos and presentations. So let's see the first video to give us an introduction to the program.
Ghana is a country filled with industrious, hard-working people constantly moving and building in a buzzing society. Over 80% of registered businesses in Ghana are small and medium-scale enterprises, making the sector a significant pillar of growth for the Ghanaian economy. At the African Center for Economic Transformation, we believe local economies can be transformed through diversified production, competitive exports, increased productivity, upgraded technology, and improved human well-being. This is why we set up the ACET Business Transform Program, ABT, a new private sector development program focused on developing early to growth stage SMEs through top-tier technical, managerial, and financial advisory services. The program helps businesses expand and go on to serve all the geographical areas while simultaneously transforming the local economy and unlocking its development potential. ACET Business Transform is strategically tailored to get early to growth stage SMEs with manufacturing or assembly components in their business models investment ready. It assists them so that they can integrate into regional markets or the global value chains, especially the value chains of large multinationals taking advantage of local content opportunities. The program grants successful SMEs with technical and managerial assistance, mentorship, hands-on coaching, financial advisory, and an investment readiness certification. Our goal is to help transform African economies by sustaining and supporting the growth of SMEs in the region. Visit our website for more information on the ACET Business Transform Program.
Thank you. Okay, so I just want to give a little background. I think you've already heard enough statistics from our Executive Vice President giving you the welcome address. But ACET's vision of transforming Africa within a generation, we believe, requires a sustainable and competitive private sector. And as a think and do tank, and I emphasize do, a think and do tank, engagement with the private sector will deepen our understanding at the micro level challenges and help amplify our impact at the policy advisory, that's at the macro level. Our ACET's private sector engagement is also designed at the macro level to promote evidence-based or evidence-informed private sector friendly public policy and regulations, and to also provide direction and coordination to strengthen the SME ecosystem, especially when it comes to SME support. And at the micro level, through our incubator and accelerator business models, assist our SMEs become investment ready and support them to integrate into regional and global value chains. And to support this agenda, the ACET Private Sector Development Program focuses on three key work streams. That is promoting the development of sustainable export processing zones aligned especially with Ghana, our one region, one pack policy of the government. Secondly, to support integration of local content SMEs into the global supply and value chains of large enterprises aligned in Ghana as the national agenda, the one district, one factory policy. And at the end of the day, working on these two work streams, we link in the SME and then the Sustainable Export Processing Zones program to achieve strong performing SMEs in Ghana, supported under the economic processing zones with sustainable infrastructure and economic development models. Like I said, my executive vice president is giving you a lot of statistics, but I just want to emphasize that what we see is opportunity, and that opportunity actually inspires us to do more. But we also know there are challenges, and ladies and gentlemen, just to mention a few, we know our SMEs, beyond the external or at the macro level challenges that they face, they also internally have challenges like weak financial and reporting systems, low productivity levels. Most of our SMEs are operating at lower equilibrium. Market intelligence, weak market intelligence and information. So the knowledge and understanding of the external environment, the opportunities, that is collaborations to increase threats and best practices that are available within the external environment, most often than not, our SMEs, because of the lack of intelligence or market information, they are not able to grow well. We also know that there are very weak governance and risk management systems. You'll see this, that in most SMEs, there are bots and other systems that really help companies navigate the challenges of doing business in sophisticated environments and to avoid or minimize the pitfalls that could endanger the survival and success of SMEs. But there's another point to note, especially when working with SMEs. We live in a global environment, and big enterprises do come into Africa or in Ghana, and they're doing business. And we know that there are local content provisions that allow Ghanaian businesses to benefit from working within the value chain. Now, most of our SMEs are not equipped enough to actually produce very competitive products to serve these value chains of these big enterprises. And therefore, working with these SMEs, what we intend to do, and especially for us, our understanding of local content is not about local ownership. It's about value addition, so that Ghanaian companies or SMEs that work that are in Ghana are able to actually add value to raw materials that they have in here to produce the goods and services required by these value chains of the big enterprises that work here in our environment. So, as a think tank, we do a lot of research, and as we said, everything we do is anchored in research. What we've done is that we've done a landscape analysis of the whole SME support system. And then we've also undertaken other studies, like a product space study that allows us, especially in line with our economic transformation agenda, allows us to understand which other sectors or products that can be focused on as a country to achieve economic diversification. And in all of these, we were gathering an understanding to design a program that would be best fit for purpose when it comes to our economic transformation agenda. And with that, we came up with the ACET Business Transform. Now, this is what it does. We have about 3 main components. The first component is our thought leadership program. Because we do understand the environment, because of our research work, because of our analysis, we want to play that role that coordinates the efforts within the ecosystem in the SME support space. And in coordinate that, we're able to harness all the activities, all the support activities, and harmonize these efforts towards a more impactful experience for Ghanaian companies or for the economy and so. Now, the second bit is our accelerator program. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, we've heard of a lot of accelerator programs, and how different is this? You will get to know this in a few seconds. Now, based on our research, as I said, to achieve economic diversification for our economy itself, the product space study led us to a few sectors, which includes agriculture, light manufacturing, agro-processing, cosmetics, and very surprisingly, we had other sectors coming up, such as woodworks, that actually have huge potential for Ghana in terms of economic diversification and also achieving a lot of export figures from that side. Now, understanding this, what happens is that we're able to now select companies after we have undertaken an extensive value chain analysis to select SMEs within these value chains that have the potential to scale, and then we give them that support. So the main unique selling point here is that our selection of companies are based on research towards our economic transformation agenda as a think tank. And like I said, we work in line with what government is also doing to deepen the impact that we hope to achieve. And secondly, we have an incubation program. The incubation program, unlike other incubation programs where you have entrepreneurs bringing ideas and getting support to go through a process of improving their ideas and going to market, we want to actually make our value chains more efficient. So based on the research that we've done, we look at areas that opportunities can be built into businesses. And these businesses, on the back of the SMEs that we've selected into our accelerator program, are supported to actually make these value chains efficient. So what do I mean by that? We have a number of agro-processing companies, and while we were selecting them, we realized that one of the areas that they really need support is actually within the supply chain. So within our incubator model, as an example, we will build an aggregator that is focused on the back of these opportunities to really make sure that their supply chain is very efficient to actually drive the scale and the growth that they require. Today, as we speak, as I said, we have the 10 companies, and how did we select them? To have a very transparent process, we worked with a partner called Venture Capital for Africa, VC4A, and used their online tools where we posted out a campaign and invited applications from all over. Interestingly, while it was limited to Ghana, we even had Nigerian companies applying to be part of it. But then, like I said, we're focused on Ghana for now. So we used these online tools to assess the applications, and we came up with a short list. And with a short list, we now did a physical verification by visiting these companies, undertaking interviews, validating the figures that they provided in the application to ensure that we are dealing with the right people. Now, while we're doing that, our program is meant to achieve some key metrics. That's job creation, potential to scale and access markets. We also would want to work with the companies to achieve import substitution and then also increase export. So these are some of the key areas that we looked in selecting the companies with the potential to actually achieve some of these metrics. And as we speak, we're very happy that we settled on the 10 companies because all of them have shown huge potential. Some of them already employing indirectly hundreds of women and young people. And we believe that with our support, we can increase these numbers extensively. Now, what is the transformation journey? When SMEs come on board, what do we do? First of all, we take them through a very rigorous due diligence, that's a gap analysis, to undertake a baseline study. And this is being done by one of the big 4 companies. The reason is we believe that you need to work with the best. And while doing this, you also are able to bring a lot of credibility to the process. So with one of our partners helping us is PricewaterhouseCoopers, whom we're working very closely on this. Now, they undertake the due diligence around the commercial viability. They look at the technical and operations. They look at the finance and tax aspect of the business, the governance, legal, and regulatory. They also undertake a governance, legal, and regulatory reviews. And they look at the human resource as well. Now, once this is done, we get more or less like a diagnosis report clearly on the companies. And with this diagnosis report, we work with our coaches and the SMEs to develop an intervention plan. And that intervention plan becomes the journey that they undertake going forward. Now, once we have that intervention plan, we give them technical and operational support. And we do this by bringing on board, while still working with our coaches, bringing on board consultants, very experienced consultants, people who have worked in the industry to support the improvement in terms of the technical operations of these companies, to support them to improve and become better. We also look at the managerial, their managerial activities. So we put in consultants who work with them from HR. Now, let me state that whatever we do is very bespoke. So based on the report that comes out of the diagnosis, we are able to now focus on the aspect that are most needed by these companies to really do well. Now, while we're doing all of these, like I said, because we also want to play that very coordinating role within the SME support ecosystem, we would work with other players within the ecosystem. When we did the landscape review, we actually interacted with a lot of the programs that are supporting SMEs. And we have, in principle, some agreements that where there's the need for their services, they will come on board and also support our SMEs. The other aspect of this journey is that we bring on board mentors. Now, what is the difference with our mentors and what others do? Our mentors are very experienced industry practitioners and are also leaders, both political and within the development community. And what these people bring on board is that the few hours that they spend with our SMEs, even within a month, proved to be very, very valuable because they're able to help us navigate certain pitfalls that without their experience and guidance, these SMEs would have actually fallen into. And then while putting this together in terms of working with mentors, we also had the support of some patrons who have committed themselves and their time to always hear us and provide whichever support that they can for the whole cohort. And the two patrons that we have currently is our own former president, President Kufuor, and then the current vice president of Liberia, Her Excellency Joel Ewart Taylor. And our current mentors that are confirmed and are with us, some of them are with us today. We have Edward Boateng, we have Ebenezer Asante, who is the vice president of MTN Global, in charge of Central and West Africa. We also have Felix Addo, who is the current president of Garia, a former country senior partner for PwC. And we have Tony Otinjesi, whom most of us know, an industrialist, a businessman. We know how much he's contributed to this economy. We also have one of the top CEOs of the country currently, Selom, and Mr. Ken Thompson, who is also the CEO of Delex. Selom Adedivo is the CEO of MTN. So these are mentors. These are mentors that we work with. Now, there are three last aspects of the program that I'd like to quickly take you through. So while doing all of these things, like we said, the objective is to make them investment ready and help them integrate into global value chains. In making them investment ready, we have designed an investment readiness certification framework. And what this framework does is that it helps us to now assess our companies prior to receiving technical assistance and then after. And this helps them to position themselves to attract the right kind of investment or financing from the right sources. We are also trying to create, on the back of the investment readiness certificate, what we also are doing currently is that we are developing this framework to eventually become very African-centric and get adopted by our various institutions, especially the Ghana Investment Promotion Council, so that companies or SMEs that wish to have joint ventureships or partnerships with investors that are coming into the country could actually subject themselves to this assessment on their own and be certified at a level. And with that level, they will be made visible to investors that are coming into the country. Now, what this does for our country is that we actually minimize the situation where investors just pick ordinary people to front businesses, thereby depriving the country of real transfer of technology, real transfer of knowledge, to build the competencies of our SMEs or of our workforce. So when we do that and we have a pipeline of investment-ready SMEs, where investors looking at doing business in Ghana could actually go in there and directly select companies to jointly do business in Ghana, we can now actually drive technology transfer so that investors who are usually footloose, when they leave, we don't suffer or the country doesn't lose by giving them the incentives that would have been given them as investors. And we hope to eventually, we know that financing is always on the list of SMEs. How do we get money? We don't want to just take them through the program and then leave them on their own. So we have a transactions advisory partner that works with these companies right from day one, working on their intervention plan, making sure that these people are actually ticking the boxes for the right type of investors that could actually partner with them to do business. And that's one of the other supports that we give to the SMEs. Now, while they are trying to match them, we know that it is still not within our control to get investors to put money into these companies. So we are also trying to build our own SME fund, which eventually, we know that in the next coming years, we would build a fund that would directly support the SMEs that go through our program and become investment ready with very viable business plans to get funding from this fund. Yes, so having said all of these, our SMEs are with us today, and I would like you to meet them.
The African Center for Economic Transformation is an economic policy institute supporting Africa's long-term growth through transformation.
The organization has enrolled 10 SMEs under its ACET Business Transform program. These SMEs will receive technical and managerial support, mentorship and coaching to become investment ready and supported to transition into global value chains.
My name is George Apia. I am the CEO, co-founder for Solar Taxi. Solar Taxi is an e-mobility company. What we do is that we do design and assemble locally electric vehicles, encompassing bikes, electric cars, electric tricycle. Also provide EV charging, maintenance, and then digital platform as a service alongside this. As a company, we are looking at advancing the transition of transportation to a more sustainable ways here in Africa. Currently, we, as a prime mover in the industry, we are looking at working on scaling. We have been able to establish our market, establish the demand. We have a number of clients. We even receive a lot of export orders that we are working on fulfilling. That is where we are on. So you can think of us being at our early stage of scaling. What we seek to get from ACET Business Transform is that we will be able to scale. Doing that means that we have to deepen our roots. So if you're looking at our corporate structures, our finance structures, our human resource, we are looking at deepening that. So that with that deepening, it enables us to grow. And that is what we seek to achieve from the program.
Big Bond Roofing Systems is your one-stop shop for all your roofing needs in Ghana and beyond. Big Bond Roofing Sheet is currently one of the top 10 roofing companies in Ghana, but our aim is to take it to the top 3 and finally the #1 roofing sheets company in Ghana and beyond. With the coaching and mentoring given to us by ACET Business Transform, we hope that it will bring to light some issues that Big Bond was unaware of, and with recommendations and solutions given to us by ACET, we hope to implement and better position ourselves in the industry.
Home Foods is an agro-processing company. We were established 26 years ago.
We are operating only in Accra, and there's a lot of market out there. People come in and we can't even meet the demand. What we hope to get from ACET is to help us bring in the right human resource. And then the last but not the least is the working capital.
My name is Nelson Boate, and I'm the founder and CEO of Neoplast Eco Ghana Limited, where we see plastic to be a valuable resource and not a threat to the environment if properly managed. The company has 64 workers employed directly and over 300 indirect workers, which are mainly women that goes out to pick plastic waste from the environment and later sent back to us. They have the capacity of taking about 20,000 kilos of plastic waste from the environment, but we as a company can only recycle 3,000 kilos out of the 20,000 kilos of plastic waste that they bring to us on a daily basis. But we know with ACET, Neoplast Eco Ghana Limited will be able to move from the 3,000 kilos of plastic waste that we are doing to 20,000 kilos of plastic waste, so that these women can also have food to put on the table for their family.
Well, welcome to Masterchem Limited. We are producers of Maxim cosmetics, detergents, and disinfectants.
This is Masterchem Company Limited, and this is our warehouse. This is where we pack all our finished goods. This is ultra conditioner, regular conditioner, and the next one is mint conditioner.
We would like ACET to help us with our technical support, our distribution network, and automation of our production line.
My name is Joshua Inbora, and I'm the CEO of Goodwill Company Limited. Goodwill is an agribusiness that is focused on the transformation of tropical fruits into ready-to-eat dried fruit snacks. We joined the ACET program with the intention of improving our capacity, as well as also enjoying the financial rewards that come from it. As currently we are looking for means of expanding our capacity and looking forward to reaching more customers. So I'm looking forward to being more formalized through the involvement of PwC, and to also make the company more attractive to raise meaningful financing that can take us to the next stage.
My name is Dr. Nanecha Ankara. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I've spent over 10 years in the industrial pharmacy department, producing pediatric suspensions. But after a while, I branched into agro-processing because I realized that was an area that lacked. Telecom Limited, we've been in business for some time now. We've tried so many methods, things that worked for us, things that didn't work for us. At this point, we've come to realize that the technical bit, that's the financial aspect, the HR, the operations, have to be fine-tuned. With ACET Business Transfer coming on board, bringing PwC on board to help us fine-tune our system, this is going to help us. Currently, we are serving Ghana, but with this on board, I'm sure that by the time the program ends, we'll be able to serve ECOWAS sub-region.
Sky 3 Agribusiness Center. Sky 3 is made up of two components, the farming and the agribusiness center. And we actually deal in 4 commodities. Mango being the major cash crop, cassava, which we cultivate and process into high quality cassava flour, where we have the factory on site here. And we also deal in maize and rice. That one, we support farmers with tractor service input, and it's aggregated, dry, clean, linked to Ghana Commodity Exchange Platform. So that is Sky 3. The Agribusiness Center where we are here, this is where we accommodate our tractors, the warehouse, and all the factories. We want you to help us do a proper structuring of the company, our business plan, our HR structure. Role profile is something I think we are lacking here. So maybe you help us structure our human resource requirement.
My name is Michael Annan Forsen. I'm a staff at Melak Coconut Processing Farm. We everything about coconuts. Yeah, we process coconut into oil, into potash, or some people call it soda, and into sugar, into flour, and also the water. Yeah, on a large scale. Yeah, basically that's what we do. and I think we do more on the exporting. We are currently doing about 98% exporting on the international markets. We will focus on the local markets sooner. Yeah. My expectation, we were here for two reasons: networking and also to assess ourselves. We don't see ourselves as we have reached there. We see ourselves as we are growing. Even though we are doing well, we believe that there are more to be done. And one of the things that we need, which is extremely more important than money, is the networking. Because through networking, somebody can connect us to another person, which investment or funding cannot even do right away. So that is one of the reasons why we are here. The second one, like I said, is about assessing ourselves. We want to know where we are. Sitting in our comfort zone, in our facility is not enough. Let's come out and see what are the new informations available. What are other companies doing that we are not aware? Those consultants, what are they bringing on board that we don't know? That is why we joined the program.
My name is Stephen Wilson Bujura, the Managing Director for Skylink Agro Solutions Limited. We are located in Nkwanta in the Oti region. We are currently processing cassava into high-quality cassava flour. We are at the moment doing 1 ton per day. Having joined the ACET Business Transform program, we believe that this program will help us put in place the right structures and be able to do a minimum of 10 tons in the next 1 year.
ACET Business Transform.
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 Growing investment-grade SMEs.
So that's our SMEs. So you see the fire, you see the passion, and we are ready to work with them, with the support from everyone here. Now, everything that has happened in the last year and a half has been done with the support of some members in-house. We have our senior management that we would like to recognize and say thank you for all the support you've given to the PSD team. And then the next is the PSD team. So these are the lady and the gentleman that's making this happen. Thank you.
Wow. Great job, Charles. I think he deserves a better round of applause. Charles, you spoke for almost 20 minutes and it wasn't boring. So that takes some doing. You deserve a lot of applause. Thank you so much. This is the ACET Business Transform launch and networking cocktail. It's coming to you live from the La Badi Beach Hotel. And we just heard from the head of the private sector of ACET walk us through those beautiful profiles. You know, when I heard the coconut guy, I was like, wow, this is a great business. I think it was this last week that a friend of mine sent me a link that a coconut company in New York City called Vita Coco had raised $173 million in an offering. So coconut is big. I don't even think they have coconut trees in New York. And they sold the shares at $15 per share. Can you imagine? So imagine if we patronize these products. So I made a mental note of the 10 companies. 6 are agribusiness, 2 are real estate related, 1 is into cosmetics, detergents, 1 is into transportation. We are going to procure from these companies for Christmas. Is that a good idea? Fantastic. And it was great to know that I've already used nail plast. I bought they have these pavement tiles. When you bounce, it doesn't break. Very, very good indeed. They were based somewhere in Ashaiman. So I've used nail plast. So take note of these 10 companies, buy from them. Who knows? We could sell one company for $100 million in a few years. Fantastic. I want to acknowledge a few key people. And this is just by way of who I've seen. So if I haven't seen you, it's because of the mask. It's not because I don't like you. I want to welcome Tony Otin-Jesse. Needs no introduction. When I was in the university, he was the university council chair. And I couldn't shake his hand during the graduation. I will shake your hand today, sir. Tony Otin-Jesse, former AGI president, a real supporter of private sector. Great man, thank you. We have the CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Efua Sabia Sari Gepa. Thank you, madam. We appreciate you. One of her deputy CEOs, Sam Dentu, is also here. Sam, thank you. Some of the functionaries from ACET have already been introduced, but just because some of them are here, we have the Senior Director for Research and Programs, Dr. Edward Brown. Doc, give us a wave. We have the Director of Communications, ACET Moraliri. Thank you. We have a few former people. Former Member of Parliament, Honorable Kwesi Etu Bonde. Thank you, sir. Former MP, former Deputy Minister for Trade, Honorable Joe Beduansa. I think I saw you somewhere. Yes, sir. Put your hands together for him. And former Deputy Minister of Trade, Robert Ahunka-Lindsay, is also here with us. Thank you very much, Robert. You're a former deputy, but you still look like a minister. You dress like them. So I'm going to ask you to come and say a few things before we invite the functionaries to do the launch. If you haven't prepared a speech, please forgive me. Just a few words, because a lot of what they are doing here, you articulated to me during our interviews. So this is something you're obviously delighted about. So let's welcome Roberta Ahunka-Lindsay for a few remarks.
Thank you very much. They say there's never such a thing as not a lunch, but a free cocktail. Thank you very much for that introduction. The team from ACET, the SMEs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, really for me it's just a few words of support. As Bernard said, up to January this year, I supported the Minister, Honorable Alan Trementing, as Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, my portfolio being industry. So when I heard what ACET was looking at doing in terms of private sector development, it is something that is very close to my heart. I think what they're trying to do, what I hear today, is one of excitement. Excitement because, first of all, I look at the richness of the mentors, the likes of Tony, who and I, we date back a few years to a couple of projects. One day we will have to write a little note about that, Tony, to share with the world. When I look at the mentorship and the companies themselves, I had an opportunity just to spend a few minutes with them outside. One of the areas that excites me is an ability to help our businesses go to the next level. I think one of our challenges we have in Ghana is that we are blessed with many micro. We're not so blessed with many small, and we're even less blessed with many medium. And the challenge we have is that the informality of these businesses means that we are not able to capture the heights of economic development. We're just not able to take advantage of the opportunities that the world offers. And so when I see some young, not so young, but young in terms of where they've reached in their economic life, businesses being handheld, being supported to take themselves to the next level, it offers me excitement. It offers me excitement because the reality we all know is that the world is built on SMEs. Notice that I didn't mention micro. The world is built on SMEs. And so for Ghana, Africa to attain some of its objectives, its ambitions, its aspirations, we need to ensure our SMEs are able to play their role, play fully their role, take advantage of the huge opportunities provided, be it the work I know GEPA is doing, trying to get businesses to export, be the unbelievable opportunities that currently government is putting ahead, the opportunities of African continental free trade, opportunities for import substitution. I'm still getting to grips, and please forgive me, ladies, when I make this comment, to the fact that Ghana imports close to $240 million of fake hair every year for our head. $240 million is imported every year. And I'm still waiting for the company that will start manufacturing to take advantage of that. But the reality is there are huge opportunities, and it's up to programs like this that I believe will be able to help us transition. Everybody is tired of the potential of Africa. Potential doesn't pay school fees. It doesn't buy my new a house. It doesn't allow me to take my kids to school to the next level. We need to turn that potential into reality. And I believe it's programs like this that will help us do that. So I wish everybody at ACET, the 10 businesses that have been selected, you have a huge task, but I have no doubt you have the best to support you in going forward. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much, Robert. We appreciate you for that. And as he was saying, the GEPA have done a lot. In fact, there was a recent publication in the BNFT about how our non-traditional exports had grown, I think, in the past year and a half. So GEPA is doing a lot, and we're very happy to have Ifua here. In fact, we want to convince her to be one of those to do the launch for us. So if it's not going to be too difficult, I would invite the CEO of GEPA and also Dr. Tony Otin-Jesse to jointly come up stage. I see the drummers are lining up. Are you coming to play, or you play for the launch? Or after the launch? Okay. There are also some fireworks here, so just be careful. Because usually when they do a launch and the fireworks go out, I was at a program when they lit the fireworks, somebody ran out of the room. So there's nothing happening. It's just to celebrate the launch. Don't run. Nothing is going wrong. So I'm going to ask the former AGI president, Dr. Tony Otin-Jesse, please come up stage. And Ifua Sabia Sari, CEO of GEPA. I don't know how you're going to manage the stage, but you're going to launch it. So you figure out how to do it. And once they do it, we'll hear some noise. We'll put our hands together. We'll make a lot of noise and live happily ever after. So put your hands together for the two of them.
I'm sure you are trying to guess what we are talking about. He's just giving me a few raps, don't worry. Don't tell his wife. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of ACET Business Transformation, we want to, and the board of directors and the mentors and all of those people who have helped make this a reality, we want to say Ayiko and declare the business transformation project duly launched.
Noyam, where are you going? Please come back. I need you here. I want to also ask the CEOs of the 10 companies to come up stage so we see you. So if they are in the lobby or if they are in the room, please come up stage. The companies, Big Bond Roofing Systems, Groital Company Limited. We want you to come to the front. Home Foods, you are the real MVPs. Please come to the front. Home Foods Processing, Max Takem, Melach, Arise, Nail Plast, Great. I just got an idea. So for this Christmas, 6 of you are agro-processing. So I'm going to buy your products, and I'm building a new house, which I will use the roofing sheets and the pavement tiles, and I'll pack all the products into the solar taxi and drive it to the house. Is that a good idea? That will be the 11th business. So let's support these guys. These are the real MVPs, and I'm sure a lot of you are here because ACET is not just a think tank, they're a doing tank. So thank you. We wish you well. Do you want to make a speech or something? Or you're okay, you're happy? You don't want to advertise, you don't want to say anything? You're fine. Okay, let's just know who's who. So let me mention Big Bond. Who's Big Bond? Okay. Groital. All right. Home Foods. Max Takem. All right. Melak. Sounds like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nailplast. The only person whose product I've bought is not here because he knows I'll be here to say it. So that's Nelson. Put your hands together for Nelson. Saliscom Limited, Arise Foods. Sky 3 Investments. Skylink Agro. There are 2 skies. You should do something together. Solar Taxi. All right. All right, please take your seats. Thank you very much. Put your hands together for them. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, Noyam. Thank you very much. Before we close, I need to say a few things. So when we're done with this phase, it's a 2-phase program. The networking cocktail is to get to meet other people, see or get a first-hand feel of their products. We have some nice videos. Some of them will also walk us through their stands. Let's not be in a hurry to leave. We've already paid for the food. We beg you, eat it for us. So that's the SME exhibition and cocktail that's happening right after this. Noyam have some great performances for us as well. There's a lot of traffic in town, so just stay, please, okay? And so we'll take a few Goodwill messages. The way we've done the program is to not make it boring. So the rest of the Goodwill messages will be shown here, very brief, before we take the closing remarks. So just put your hands together for the screen as it shows us the Goodwill messages.
The miracle is that the Africa of our time is quickly awakening and is very determined to mainstream itself into the phenomenal globalization process. This is through the advent of a new breed of leaders democratically elected over the past 2 decades. Fortunately, the ingredients for success are also being identified and refined both at the individual and national levels, and also at the continental level. The driving forces include local, regional, and international elements. Rapidly and forcefully emerging to take pride of place among them are private sector enterprises and entrepreneurship. It is in this respect that the launch of the ACET Business Transform is important and worth supporting.
ACET becomes a place of linkages where African countries, and I'm talking Africa because I think this is where the transformation needs to take place, that we can now put on that portal where, what, how, when the entire SME sector can benefit. And then ACET has to also be a voice across the regions, talking about the need for integration.
Is that it? That was pretty short. You're a very brief man. Okay, I was just thinking of what to say. You caught me by surprise. All right. We will now have the closing remarks. Dr. Ed Brown, please put your hands together.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have come to the end of this very interesting and important event. That is the launch of the Africa ACET Business Transform. And I would like to take this opportunity by offering a sincere thanks to you all, on behalf of ACET and our private sector team, and our partners, to all of you who joined here today. And please allow me to offer an extra note of appreciation and gratitude to our special guests of honor. Today, the Minister of Trade and Industry was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he was traveling. But we were able, creatively, to ensure that at least someone with a voice in the Ministry of Trade and Industry can talk to us. And we were ever so grateful and appreciative of Mr. Amunkanlise's intervention. So thank you very much, Mr. Amunkanlise. The ACET Business Transform would not be possible without the support and guidance of our patrons. And you've heard what former President Kufuor said, and also the Liberian Vice President. We are actually already engaged with conversation in Liberia to do similar work, and also in Rwanda, where we've actually started work with the Rwandan Development Board to support their efforts to align their industrial policy to the AFCFTA protocols, and also with the federation, the private sector federation in Rwanda, to do similar interventions that we're doing here. So we're so grateful for that. I would also like to recognize again our mentors. Mr. Tony Otinjesi was introduced as an industrialist, but many of you did not also know that Mr. Tony Otinjesi has been an ACET board member for many years. So I'd like to emphasize that. Mr. Felix Addo, Edward Boateng, Ebenezer Sante, Kenneth Thompson, and Salome Adadevo, we are most grateful for you accepting to mentor these new cohorts of SMEs that are charting and blazing the trail in becoming investment ready, and to basically link into the regional and the global value chain. The sponsors of ACET Business Transform, I would be remiss if I don't mention the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, NORAD. They have provided us with the seed financing that has helped us to initiate this process. And also to the World Bank, I'm not too sure if the country director is here, but to Pierre Laporte, the World Bank country director for Ghana. The financing for this project was actually through the Think Africa Trust Fund, established in the World Bank, supporting ACET's initiatives. So I'd like to recognize them for their. Our technical delivery partners, and as Charles said, we are occupying a middle, what I would call the missing middle. We are trying to coordinate, facilitate, and enhance partnership across the public and the private sector. ACET is not doing the work. We are supporting and facilitating the initiatives. And as thought leaders, we are also developing the space to ensure that everything that we're doing is grounded in the local reality. And here, I would like to recognize PwC, Mr. Kobna Santi-Poku, who has been working with the ACET private sector team, and also EVC Africa, Ed Villas, who is the managing partner, and then the Council of Local Experts and Entrepreneurs Training and Development, Mr. David Cole, who is the founder. These three partners have been working with us in trying to begin to support these SMEs to strengthen their capacity to become investment ready. And finally, thank you. And finally, a very special thank to the 10 businesses who make up the first Business Transform cohort. You've all seen them, so I'm not going to be mentioning their names anymore. But everything we have seen and heard today reaffirms the importance of private sector initiative in driving economic transformation, and private sector development starts with the hard work of the local content SMEs like you. Considering the economic hardships we have all had to endure in the past year, It is very inspiring to see so many committed leaders who are ready to grow and transform their businesses. And it is equally encouraging to see stakeholders from the public and the private sector, the development and investor community in attendance. ACET Business Transform is a real demonstration of ACET's commitment to ensuring economic transformation beyond research and analysis. What we really hope to create here today is opportunities. Opportunities for local SMEs to grow and transform, but also opportunities for investors to meet companies that are poised for rapid expansion, and opportunities for the government and development community to leverage private sector initiatives to drive growth with depth, as Mavis mentioned earlier. So as I close out this event, I would like to urge you all to enjoy this moment and take advantage of the opportunity to really get to know our business transform SMEs, and all of us to find ways to work together on this transformation journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Ed Brown, and those were the closing remarks. So to remind you one more time that this is just part one of the program. The networking cocktail is happening at the poolside. Whilst that's going on as well, we will be doing some live interviews. So if you want to hear more about some of our partners, PwC, EVC, and some of the other partners, there will be live interviews going on. There are screens all over the place. If you want to quietly listen, you can stay in here and watch those interviews as well. But the poolside is where we'll be hosting the cocktail. Thank you so much for being here. I want to say thank you to our viewers on JoyNews TV and also all our social media platforms, Facebook in particular. Thank you. Please, if you like what you just saw, click like and share so others can benefit from this as well. It's been a pleasure coming your way live from the Labadi Beach Hotel. My name is Bernard Avle, your MC for the program. And somebody's just walking in. Ooh, okay. So, well, it's better late than never. Put your hands together. All right. So that's actually the Member of Parliament for Ikropong. She's also the Deputy Minister for Trade. I'm sure something happened. So I'm in two minds. Maybe we should let you say something at the poolside when we eat a bit of food and we're happy, because I'm sure there were some communication issues. But thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister, for showing up. This is just part one of the program that you missed, but part two is happening at the poolside. So I want to say thank you to all of you. Can I proceed, gentlemen? Can I proceed? Okay. So I'm just deciding on the stage whether I should let her come and speak or whether we should. Should I come and say a few words? Okay. But she needs to settle. Are you settled? You want to say a few words? Fantastic. Put your hands together for Honorable Dukuya Esiama Ajay, Deputy Minister for Trade. We're sure you have a good explanation.
Well, apologies, but I don't know if I'm the only one who went through the very thick traffic today. My last meeting prolonged, and I'm not a fan of attracting unnecessary attention by driving aggressively when the traffic is extremely thick. I take my time and go through it, and sometimes this is the price that I have to pay for going through the traffic. I thought by the time I left the office, it would have gone down, but I misjudged. Apologies, but as a politician, I take opportunity for every opportunity that I'm giving. And then once I have the podium, I would want to make the full statement that I intended to make. Please bear with me. Indeed, it is a pleasure for me to be associated with this important launch of the ACET Business flagship program, which seeks to support the development and growth of early to growth stage SMEs. The significance of this day cannot be overemphasized. This is particularly so because the vision of the current administration under the leadership of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is to make Ghana a manufacturing hub in Africa by developing a modern, vibrant, technology-driven and competitive industrial sector that contributes significantly to inclusive and sustainable economic growth and creates well-paid jobs, particularly for the vulnerable groups. Therefore, the promotion of the development of the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector is crucial to the attainment of the country's socio-economic development aspirations of the country, given that they constitute 92% of all businesses. All businesses provide employment to 80% of the country's workforce and generate 70% of the national output, and more importantly, account for 85% of manufacturing employment. Distinguished guests, in spite of the potential that micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises possess in poverty alleviation and wealth creation efforts, they are always confronted with systematic challenges that inhibit their growth and their development as well. Most early-to-growth stage SMEs are unable to explore and take advantage of the market opportunities, which is a result of their low production volumes, poor product quality, and substandard designing and packaging. Additionally, they lack technical and managerial skills and have low levels of technology adoption, thereby affecting their capacities to expand and enjoy economies of scale. I must say that government is not oblivious of the challenges confronting the sector and has set in motion a number of initiatives that are aimed at creating a conducive environment for MSMEs to operate in. These initiatives include, but are not limited to: 1, transitioning of the MDSSI to Ghana Enterprises Agency to the apex body to coordinate and promote the growth and development of MSME sector in the country. 2, to establish 37 business resource centers across the country to provide a one-stop shop business development services to MSMEs. 3, the development of the National MSMEs and Entrepreneurship Policy to provide a clear policy direction for the growth of the MSME sector. 4, the Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme, CAPBUS, to address the disruption of economic activities with 1.2 billion Ghana cedis to households and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, as soon as you may be aware, government in June this year launched a 145 million grant under the Ghana Economic Transformation Project to provide funding to resuscitate the operations of MSMEs in the country. And this is a testament of government that is not just paying lip service to the development of the MSME sector. This initiative is targeting a minimum of 350 MSMEs to receive funding to help grow them into sustainable businesses capable of competing on the regional, continental, and global stage. The Ghana Cares Obatampa program is the blueprint of our post-COVID-19 economic recovery and structural economic transformation. Our emphasis is to build stronger institutions to deliver efficient services, provide the necessary infrastructure to support business, and improve access to long-term finance, build skills to deepen the quality and impact of services, and maintain financial sustainability. As the Deputy Minister responsible for MSMEs, I couldn't agree more with that technology, and demographics have changed everything for us. Both bring fantastic opportunities and daunting challenges. This is why it is important to offer leaders of these early to growth stage fresh and practical approach to navigating the evolving complexities of the new world. It is against this background that we find the initiative of the African Center for Economic Transformation, led by its private sector development program, very timely, laudable, and consistent with the key focus of the Ghana Cares program. The African Center for Economic Transformation, through this business acceleration program, will bring Ghanaian small and medium enterprises to a level of investment readiness and to support their transition into competitive global chains. This is a unique approach to growing indigenous businesses, expanding their capacity for export, diversification, the creation of jobs, and transformation of the economy. The initiative receives the full endorsement and support of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. Distinguished guests, it is instructive that under its private sector development program, the African Center for Economic Transformation adopts the approach that promotes the development of sustainable export processing zones, which aligns with government's one region, one park policy, supports the integration of the local content SME into the global supply and value chains of large enterprises, which aligns with the government's flagship one district, one factory policy, and also links local content SME and SEPZ programs to achieve strong performing SMEs in Ghana. Supported under the economic processing zones with sustainable infrastructure and economic development models. To the private sector-led initiatives such as the ACET business transformation, we will extend needed partnerships and investments. We will build on the great successes we have had in the last 4 years by scaling up technologies to reach these and many other SMEs. We continue to act with dispatch to add value to what we produce and also to provide creative and high-tech opportunities for massive youth engagement in agro-processing, light manufacturing, recycling, among others. Our priority is for workers and businesses to use their skills innovatively in a commercial environment that is regionally integrated. Once again, congratulations to all SMEs in this cohort, and we look forward to engaging further in the days ahead. Thank you, my good friend, Dr. K.Y. Amwakun, and the African Center for Economic Transformation. We indeed are on this journey together. Thank you.
Well, as they say, it's better late than never. Thank you very much, Honorable Dokuya, for keeping it exciting. If it had been boring, you would have been in trouble. It was great. So let's put hands together one more time for her. Thank you very much indeed. So as earlier announced, we've come to the end of the program, and the cocktail is beginning. It's not at the poolside. It's actually in the garden to my right. So we'll go out through the lobby, enjoy the drinks, take time to visit the stands, click and like the video. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. It's been an insightful session in there. We've heard a lot about the ABT program. We've heard from our SMEs. We've heard from our coaches, our partners, and we're excited about the journey ahead. So one of the people we heard from in there, if you missed it, was the Executive Vice President of ACET, Mavis Owusu-Gyamfi, and she said some pretty interesting things. So we're going to speak to her shortly, and then we'll have some others on here. So welcome, Mavis.
Thank you, Belinda.
It was inspiring listening to you in there. I'm excited for the SMEs. I have to go and start an SME so that I can, I can join. But one of the key things that you said that stood out, that SMEs are usually seen as these risky businesses and all that. But you said they're creators, they are innovators, they are taxpayers, they are employers, actually. So having seen what has been done with the SMEs so far and what is planned, what's the potential that you see for these SMEs in Ghana, and how do you think that they're going to impact the economies of Ghana specifically and Africa in general?
Thank you very much, Belinda. I think one of the things we've got to ask ourselves is, why is it that banks and financial institutions see SMEs as risky? Often, if you are going to invest in a company, you want to know that it has governance. You want to know that it has back office systems. You want to know it has the right human resources. You want to understand that it understands its market, so that the money you invest in that company is going to bear fruit, and the chances of you losing that money is limited. Unfortunately, a lot of our small and medium enterprises don't necessarily have those systems in place. They have not been engaged and supported to put in place these fundamental building blocks that are necessary. So if a banker goes in or an equity investor goes in and they look at the SME, immediately they think you are risky. So with the ACET ABT program, what we are trying to do is, one, do the diagnostics to understand what are the back office and front office weaknesses that these SMEs have. Two, help them to understand how to get these services. Three, help them go into the market and buy these services. Fourth, get, seasoned businesses and seasoned financiers to coach them on the journey. Having gone through this process, bank goes in and does the analysis, they feel a lot more confident that actually they are backing a viable business. So I really believe that if the SMEs are serious, if they are willing to work with us, if they are willing to think this through, then it will change. For me, the biggest challenge is going to be, once the SMEs have been on this journey, are they going to continue to pay for it? Because if we leave and they don't continue to pay for it, they'll go back. So they need to see the value out of these services and continue to buy into those services. Then we will see these businesses grow and generate. But remember, we want the SMEs to generate business. We want them to grow. We want them to employ people. But the business services market we're linking them to are also businesses. So the more small and medium enterprises that tap into that sector, the more we can continue to grow the business sector, and the whole ecosystem will work for our favor. So I'm optimistic. And it was wonderful to hear the Honorable Minister say she is behind us and helping us to ensure that the environment is positive for these SMEs.
Yay, so we are optimistic, very, for these 10 SMEs in our first cohort. And we believe that at the end of the journey, we're going to see some big names coming out of these ones, and they're going to contribute to developing the economies of Africa. We're looking to replicate this outside of Africa, correct? So how are you seeing that progressing? Very shortly, yeah.
So we're looking to see it progress outside Ghana to other countries. And that's why in my speech, I talked about learning. We need to learn what works, so that when we go to Liberia, when we go to Rwanda, when we go to Zambia, when we go to these other countries, we are building on evidence, and we are not just reinventing the wheel and making unnecessary errors that we have already learned here.
Thank you very much, Mavis.
It's a pleasure, Belinda. Thank you.
And we are going to speak to a representative from EVC Africa. We have Mr. Ed Villas, who is the managing partner at EVC Africa. EVC Africa is one of the partners with ACET on this transformation journey. So welcome, Ed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good to have you. So very briefly, you've already started the journey with these SMEs, right? What are some of the key challenges that you're seeing emerging from the diagnostics that you've done with them, and how is the plan to address these challenges going to evolve with the SMEs? I know we're looking at having bespoke solutions for each SME. So how is this going to evolve?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks a lot. I'm very excited about this opportunity because myself being the managing partner of a firm, an advisory firm, that we consider as the leaders in economic transformation, creates a beautiful alignment with what we're doing with ACET as an economic transformation think tank across not just the region, but across the continent. In relation to the SMEs, historically, we realize that a lot of people think SMEs require just capital and skills and the like, but increasingly, as we've gotten to work with them much closely, we realize that capital is not the only thing they need. The right type of capital is very critical. It's almost analogous to, we all know we need blood, but if your blood group is not what you're receiving as a transfusion, it's sometimes more even worse for you than having gotten that transfusion in the first place. So the role that we're playing in terms of the gaps analysis and understanding what their needs are is prescribing the right type of capital for these SMEs and helping them scale up so we can transform and transition them across. The final point I'd like to add to what we're discussing is we've heard quite a lot about African Continental Free Trade Agreement and the prospects and the possibilities that it provides us, which is fantastic and phenomenal. But the key thing is we've seen other economic blocs, like the EU and other economic blocs, that haven't sustained. The key thing is we need to develop our local content and integrate them into the value chains such that when these economic blocs come about, like AFTA, they can sustain. Because without the deeply rooted, integrated, local, indigenous elements of skills and talent and capital growth being brewed on a home front, the broader perspective of a regional cohesion would only be a matter of time before it sort of seems to falter. So we're very excited about working very closely with ACET in this initiative, and I think everybody should as well.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you.
Right. So we've just spoken to Ed Villas of EVC Africa, who is one of our partners. And now we have with us the CEO of one of the SMEs in our first cohort of the ABT program. He'll introduce himself briefly and then we'll go on.
Yeah, I'm Kwesi Etubondi, representing Sky3 Investment Limited. We are one of the SMEs. We are into agribusiness development, specifically high-quality cassava flour production based in Kintampo, center of Ghana. We are fortunate we've been selected to be first batch of this cohort. And I think I'll thank them, and we are looking forward for support in terms of structuring the company so that we can get the needed investment to move from 1 ton per day to the expected 10 ton per day in production. That will help us break even or make more profit. And by so doing, we can also get a lot of raw material from our farmers.
Right, so for your company, you're looking to increase your production. And you're looking to make your processes more effective.
More effective.
You've gone through at least a bit of the program from the beginning with some of the partners. How have you seen it so far? How do you think that is something that will be beneficial to your organization?
Yeah, I think it will be beneficial because if you look at this, it's action-oriented. And they travel all the way from Accra to Kintampo, very far, to do due diligence, to prove or like whatever you put in the proposal application exists. And they scrutinize a lot of our documents, information before we've come this far. So we hope this is a different, should I say, incubation process than what we've gone through before.
Yeah.
Previously, others will be sitting that, oh, bring us this information, bring us that information.
Right.
In this wise, they are holding our hands, helping us to do whatever we have to do. So I think this is a different ball game, and it will help Sky3 Investment Limited to reach our potential.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So he's expectant. He says this incubation process is action-oriented. Let's see what another SME also has to say. Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Sahada Ibrahim.
Sahada to Ibrahim, and you're with which SME?
Big Bond Roofing System.
Big Bond Roofing Systems.
Yeah.
Very good to have you.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be part of the first cohort of ABT? And how have you seen the journey so far? I know you've gone through the diagnostic processes and all that. How have you seen the journey so far? And number two, what is the one key thing that you're expecting that this will add to your company?
The journey so far is good. And secondly, what it will add to us is to help us expand our production level, make the number one roofing company in Ghana, in West Africa.
Right. Thank you very much. We hope that you have a fruitful journey. All right. So that was Sahada too. She's looking forward to having the journey help her company to expand their business. So you've heard from some of the SMEs, you've heard from some of our partners, and you've heard from ACET and the other stakeholders. We are all looking forward to a successful journey, and at the end of it, we'll definitely keep you updated on how these SMEs perform and how they are integrated into the value chain in their respective sectors. So thank you very much once again for joining us on the ABT launch, and we hope that you have a good evening.